Lesson 2.3, Video 2. We're going to skip example 2 and do that at the end because that takes a step there that we're going to need in Lesson 2.4. So we're going to go to 2.3, and we are going to solve by not substitution, that's a mistake, but by elimination. So again, we want to align our x and y, but we notice this one has a step that we must take care of first, and that is that we must distribute our negative 10. If we do that, we get negative 10x minus 10y equals a positive 50. Now I'm going to bring this one down below so you can more easily see what our two equations are. And notice that our x's and y's are aligned. We do have y values that are opposite signs or opposite values, so we can go ahead and add these together, these equations, because they will cancel. Negative 10x plus 7x, remember we are adding the equations. We get negative 3x, our y's cancel, and we get 21 when we take 50 minus 29. Divide both sides by negative 3, and x is equal to a negative 7. Now notice that these do go pretty fast compared to substitution. It's just getting the equations prepared and ready is what most of the work is. But also, when we put the x value back in, it's not quite so easy as substitution because we don't have an equation solved for a variable. So again, meaning right here, we don't have a nice equation to plug our value into. We have to do more solving. So if we take our next step and plug it in, we can choose one. I'm going to choose the top one again, and the top one will be 7 times negative 7 plus 10y equals negative 29. This gives you a negative 49 when you multiply. We will add 49 to both sides and get 10y equals, let's clean this up here, this is a 29 and a 49. That gives us 20. Divide by 10, and y equals 2. And there is our coordinate. Next question. We have a similar situation where we have to distribute this 3 before we get going, which will give us a negative 6x, a positive 15y equals 6. Again, I'm going to write this one down below it. And notice we have opposite 6's and opposite y's. Now when I add these two together, I get 0 plus 0 equals 0. In other words, 0 equals 0. Now when we have this kind of situation, which means no variables are left, we have to ask ourselves, is this a true statement or a false statement? And this is a true statement. And if it's a true statement, then we would say that you have many solutions. In other words, infinite. And this is what happens when you have two lines that are graphed and they are the same line. If you remember when we graphed, we would have a scenario where two lines would cross where you have one solution. Two lines are parallel where you would have no solution. And then two lines that are exactly the same, which would be infinite solutions. And this is what it would look like to have infinite solutions. And for comparison, if we had something like 2 equals 3 with no variables, where this would be a false statement, then we would say that there are no solutions. And that would be an example of parallel lines right here. So that's what would happen when we try to solve with elimination when we have those scenarios. And this ends 2.3 video 2.